Apple announced their new MacBook Pros today, and it is a really exciting moment in the M1 world because this is finally a more advanced chip than their original M1, which was already basically insane. And I've tried out almost every single one of them, from the MacBook Air to the Mac Mini to the iMac. I feel like I'm rapping right now, like M1 to the Mac to the Magic to the Mac. What am I doing? Anyway, but then Apple drops these new M1 Pro and M1 Max MacBook Pros. We got the 14-inch, we got the 16-inch. I'm not gonna get too deep into the specs, but I personally am pre-ordering the base model of the 14-inch MacBook Pro with the M1 Pro chip. Be sure to smash the like button and subscribe if you're not already, because I'm going to be comparing my MacBook Air M1 to this new base model MacBook Pro with the M1 Pro chip. And also please follow me on Twitter. My handle is right here, B3NAQUA. So I put my pre-order in for the space gray 14-inch base model. Part of me is like, you don't really need the top model of every single computer in order to get a lot of tasks done. And yeah, it's $2,000, which is officially the most expensive laptop I have ever purchased. And I'm purchasing it with my own money, by the way. I'm not getting paid to say any of this stuff. I'm just that into the M1 machine because the M1 has really kind of revolutionized how I feel about Macs, and it's made making videos and music and all of my creative stuff on the Mac machine just so much more enjoyable because everything just feels like buttery smooth. There's not really a whole lot that will take these machines down. Like, no matter what you throw at the M1 chip, it just completely blazes through everything. And really the only hiccups that I've had with the M1 chips has been like monitor issues and then some RAM issues. But once I got that 16 gigabytes of RAM on the M1, it totally works so much better. And the monitor issues, since all these like firmware updates and stuff, a lot of those have smoothed out. There were also some Bluetooth issues that I was experiencing, and a lot of those have smoothed out almost completely. I don't really notice any Bluetooth issues at all anymore. So yeah, M1 is an incredibly efficient machine, and these M1 Pro / M1 Max. Damn, it's getting even more and more complicated to remember all these freaking names for all these models. But I'm really excited to try out the new M1 Pro 14-inch base model because I like to get the base model of a lot of products just to see, like, can you use the base model for a lot of your basic stuff? And especially with the MacBook Pros that are coming out, I have no doubt that I will be able to use the new 14-inch MacBook Pro for making videos, for making my music, etc. I just think it'll blaze through everything. That's why I pre-ordered this new MacBook Pro, because I'm like really curious how much faster and how much better, how much more efficient and how much more magical can these Macs actually get? And by the way, the specs do look amazing, and I do think $2,000 is a lot of money to pay for the base model of the 14-inch new MacBook Pro. But you know, there's a better display on there. They're finally introducing ProMotion up to 120 hertz frame rates on their screens, and the brightness on those screens is, I think, about double what it is on the MacBook Air. And there's even like 1 billion different colors you can get on the new displays of the 14-inch MacBook Pro and the 16 inches as well. To me, the sweet spot is definitely 13 inches. I really, really like how lightweight this MacBook Air is, and the new MacBook Pro 14-inch, of course, is bigger. It's a little bit heavier, but the internals are basically all new on that machine as well compared to the MacBook Air. Like, the camera is a lot better. The FaceTime camera, it's now 1080p. It's about damn time. We have better microphones. Another thing that I'm also super excited about with these new MacBook Pros is the port selection. So now there's gonna be 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports. There's going to be an SD card reader. There's gonna be a headphone jack still, and they're putting back the HDMI connector into the new MacBook Pros. The new connectivity on these MacBook Pros is kind of all I really need to not have dongle life. So for the past year, I've been using this USB-C dongle on my MacBook Air and my Mac Mini. This has basically all I need when it comes to dongle life, with the SD card reader and USB ports and a USB-C power connectivity. And we also have the HDMI port on the end. So yeah, dongle life is a thing. You kind of get used to it after a while, but it is kind of annoying when you have to plug this into your MacBook Air or your M1 machine, and you know, you just have to dangle a bunch of freaking dongles, dangle a bunch of dongles into this dongle. I am so excited, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. But yeah, dongle life is manageable, but it is kind of annoying, honestly, and I'd rather not attach like a ton of things to my MacBook Air because it just is beautiful as its own device. And the HDMI connector in these new Pros will be really awesome for connecting my huge TV, my Sony A80J, which I use as a kind of giant OLED display for my MacBook Air. So no more connectors, no more adapters. I'll just be able to plug my TV directly into that HDMI port in this new MacBook Pro. But yeah, that's it for this video. I just wanted to share some of my excitement and my initial reaction of just like shaky jitteriness to these new MacBook Pros. Be sure to leave a comment below on whether you're going to be upgrading to these new MacBook Pros from your M1 machine or maybe even an Intel machine. Is this new MacBook Pro even at the base model? Like, is that enough computing for you? I think it's gonna be plenty for me personally, but be sure to subscribe to my channel if you're not already, because I'm going to be doing some more in-depth comparisons between my M1 machine, specifically my MacBook Air here, maybe even my Mac Mini over here, because a lot of y'all I know are still team Mac Mini and I love this thing, you know, chef's kiss. Anyway, thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next one.